My husband called me hysterical while his mom was pushing me into a corner. Maybe the nice man I married doesn't exist anymore. While thinking so, I decided to trust him once more. But he betrayed me until the very end. I hesitated so much to get divorced. But now, I don't feel any hesitation. I thought that day would never come. I'm Tiana. I married Adam 3 years ago, and we're both working. He was such a nice guy. I met him as a client's salesperson. He was popular with the girls in the office, and they didn't like it when they found out he was marrying me. However, everyone thought he was the ideal husband. To be honest, it's not going great. Hey, can you come home early today? Trying not to sound too nosy, I ask him once every week, though he always gives me the same answer. Sorry, I got some work to do, so I'll be late. Every time he says that, I'm feeling more and more down. The reason why I can't tell him what to do is because we had an argument about our child a year ago. His mom started to urge us to have a baby as soon as we got married. I couldn't just stand getting told that every day, so I couldn't help but to ask him when he'll be home every day. Come to think of it now, I probably was a little annoying about it back then. Then as I kept asking him deliberately, he got mad at me in the end. Give it a rest already. Stop talking about having kids. I don't feel motivated to do anything if you keep asking me these things. It was the first time he ever got mad at me. Honestly, I was upset. I told him about his mother too. Your mom keeps telling me to have a baby every day. If I can't, she doesn't recognize me as your wife. But he sighs. Come on, don't take it too seriously. Aren't you getting a little bit hysterical? Talking to you like this already exhausts me. It was unbelievable for him to say something like that to me. I kind of predicted it was going to happen, but I didn't think it would go this far. Even if she drove me crazy, I imagined him to be on my side. After he told me not to be so persistent, I thought it over and tried to stay calm. I made him angry for the first time. That means I must have been crazy. His anger let me recognize how annoying I was. After that, she didn't stop urging me to have a kid. But as my husband said, I just ignored it and stayed quiet. I even stopped questioning him when he came home late. But just like before, we hardly ever spend any time together. I eat alone almost every day. Once in a while, he gets home early and we have a short talk. It's not like we don't get along, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like a good relationship. If I say something unnecessary to him again, the distance between us would probably get bigger. That's why I've become too considerate to say anything against him. I'm not sure if I can call this relationship a married couple, but I wasn't brave enough to get divorced. It's not like he actually hit me or anything. He just happens to have a lot of work to do. I keep telling myself that. I lived day to day without really thinking about anything. But one day, his colleague told me something unbelievable. His colleague told me that he might be cheating on me. That's what he told me. He was quite sure as he told me that. I felt he had a proof. My blood started to boil. That's what I felt. While I was trembling, I asked him what he saw. Then he told me when he and his family went to an amusement park, he saw my husband there. He obviously thought I was with him, so he tried to speak to him. However, there was a younger woman walking along with him. He saw it and stopped trying to speak to him, and he thought it could be some kind of proof of him cheating. He even took a picture of it for me. As I saw the picture, I was at a loss for words. The woman by my husband's side was his coworker, who's come over to our house once before. They seemed very friendly then. No way. I couldn't believe what I just saw with my eyes. I wanted to trust him, but the word cheating best described his recent behavior. Because he was cheating on me, he was late to get home and was distant. I almost cried in the office. His colleague worried about me and tried to consolate. He said, "I'm sorry you have to go through this." He kept on saying that. It wasn't his fault. Even for myself, I was getting doubtful of my husband's behavior. We might be over now. I feel so depressed and alone. I can't remember how I finished my work that day. I got home and I was just waiting for my husband without eating anything. I ignored all of the phone calls from my mother-in-law. I was just waiting for him. Then, at midnight, I could hear the front door open. I walked towards him right away. "Welcome back." I welcomed him with my tearful face. He was surprised. "What happened? Did something happen?" He looked at my face, pretending to be worried about me. I showed him the picture. "What is this?" Then he froze for a moment. Then he chuckled. "It's not funny!" He heard my voice full of rage and embraced me. "Sorry, did you possibly think I was cheating on you? But you're just misunderstanding." He touched my hair. This was the first time in months that we even touched each other. It was sad. Then he explained the situation to me. He said there were a couple more people there at a company competition. His team had won and been rewarded by the president. As a celebration for that, everyone in the team went there. Then why didn't he tell me about it? I asked him. He said it was because I would have misunderstood, just like I am right now. Can I truly trust his words? He had enough time to go out with his colleagues, but not with me. But I was stupid enough to trust his words once again. He clearly explained the situation. He doesn't want to get divorced. I know I'm being silly, but rather than accepting he was cheating on me, it was easier this way. He looked at me being speechless. He apologizes, saying, "Trust me." Okay, but I've been so lonely recently. I know that you're busy, but I want to spend time with you more. I couldn't help crying like a baby. I wonder if he thought I was being annoying. I didn't want him to be irritated, but he gently wiped my tears. "All right, I'll make sure to spend time with you more." These are the words I truly wanted. I thought I could finally get out of this loop. After that, he got home early more often than before. It was as if the anxiety was just a lie. He started to devote himself to me. I'm so glad that I trusted him once again. I was feeling so positive that I didn't have to worry about anything. The other day, I ignored all the phone calls from my mother-in-law. She started to actually come to our house, but I was so positive that I didn't care about it so much. "Why don't you stop working together already? That's why you can't have a baby, huh?" She tells me to have a baby as usual. We go at our own pace. I smiled and answered to her. Then she looked kind of hopeful and sighed. "If you're too slow, he's going to switch to another girl." Her words froze me. It reminded me of the recent fuss about my husband's cheating. "Do you think he's going to cheat on me?" I looked straight at her, but she looked away awkwardly, because she got divorced because her ex-husband cheated on her. I don't think so. But one thing is, no one knows what's going to happen in life. She loves her son. She feels she wants to blame me for not having a baby, but she doesn't want to disrespect her own son. I knew you'd say that. It's fine because I trust him. My words made her silent. She went home without saying anything more about it. It might be the first time I ever spoke up to her. I might have been mean to her, but I was a little bit satisfied and refreshed. I looked at my phone and thought it was about time for my husband to get home. He had sent a text saying that he would be late. It's been a while since he was late. Well, it happens once in a while. He's been getting home early recently, so I wasn't frustrated at all. I took a bath a little longer than usual. I was about to watch some dramas before I go to bed. But then, my phone rang. At midnight? I knew something was off. It was from the state hospital. They told me he got into an accident. It was so sudden it made me speechless. It took a couple of seconds for me to understand it. I let his mom know right away and rushed to the hospital. Then I saw him with lots of tubes attached to his body, with bandages wrapped around his body. No way. His mom's crying drowned out my words. A few days later, he managed to wake up. He got into an accident on his way back home in a car. He'll need a wheelchair from now on. The woman who was in the passenger seat has yet to regain consciousness. The woman was the person in the picture. Tiana, I'm really sorry. I can no longer walk on my feet. His mom cried and said he was lucky just to be alive, but I couldn't say anything. Tiana, please support him from now on. But I'm glad you don't have a baby. If you had been pregnant, you might have retired. She was saying something completely opposite to what she's been telling me recently. Even my husband agreed with her. At that moment, I couldn't give a crap anymore. I want a divorce. My words froze my husband and his mom. A couple of seconds later, his mom started to yell at me. It's your duty to support him, right? My son kept you by his side for 3 years without having a baby. Then now you're going to dump him like that? You're such a heartless woman. Being followed by her words, he started to cry and say, Are you dumping me just because I can't walk? I thought you were a good person. They were blaming me, but I showed them the video on my phone. The video is from the recorder that was equipped to his car before he got into the accident. The whole situation was recorded, including what was going on inside the car. Even after seeing this, can you say the same thing? I got this right after the accident from the company. I played it and showed the video to them. Then his face started to turn pale. His mom was lost for words, because the cause of the accident was that he was touching the woman's body in the passenger seat while he was driving. The woman looked like she was enjoying it. As expected, he was cheating on me. This is the reason why I'm getting divorced. Later, I'm going to bring a divorce certificate with a lawyer. And I left the room. But then his mom started to yell. Not at me, but at him. Ouch! Mom, stop it! He was almost crying. At the same time, I could hear her yelling at him. Why did you? You're gonna betray me too. Why did you do the same thing as your dad? Their voices from behind made me think they'd be better off fighting each other forever. I don't have to be concerned about him and his annoying mother anymore. I was so hopeful to stay married. But now that I made up my mind, I felt so refreshed. A week later, we got divorced officially. No one was on his side. Even his mom agreed with me. She quietly watched over the whole thing. By the way, the company thinks the cause of the accident is 100% his responsibility. I heard they didn't compensate him for it. On top of that, the woman's parents blamed him for her being unconscious. He was told to take care of her forever, including his mom. Everyone blamed him. He decided to escape from them, but apparently he ran out of his money and asked me for help. So I contacted his parents and the woman's parents right away. I helped them catch him. Once he got caught, he was desperately asking me for help. Tiana, please. At this rate, I can't live on. I won't betray you ever again, so please help me. Of course I said no. You've never helped me for all these years. Can you stop joking around? You got no right to be by my side anymore. He looked down, and the woman's parents took him away. I bet he's still taking care of her, being unconscious. And from now on, too. As I got out of the circle, it has nothing to do with me anymore. I probably won't emotionally recover for a while. But as long as I can, I'll try to forget about him. and I'll try to look for my own happiness.